So we were both just violated, right?
You let me rest too long. Yeah, we were both just violated. We're reporting it to the authorities.
Is this going to be an official urban dictionary hate crime? Or slang hate crime?
Here's the thing. This stupid word is sigma. Dan, read a def, and then we'll go into the episode. I ain't got time to wax poetic about this bullshit.
Okay, we'll go with the first one that triggered him. Sigma, a term used to describe the alpha male, typically used by average toddler. That's one of the things. A very self-reliant person, kind of like an alpha, except higher. Basically, it's the new version for alpha male. Right?
Sure is.
There's something wrong with that, though. I would think.
There is. But I'm mad.
And I'm Dan.
Let's fucking go.
Oh shit.
Hey, so here's the problem with this whole thing. I don't know, and I don't expect that little children are going to know anything about the Greek language. But I don't think it's hard to understand that alpha is the first letter of the alphabet. And that it's possible, in fact, alphabet is a combination of alpha and beta, which are the first two letters of the alphabet.
Mm-hmm. We're actually going to learn something in this episode. That's new for us.
It is. And so by definition, when you refer to somebody as an alpha male, it's because they're at the top of the chain.
Yeah.
So if they are at the top of the chain, then how does sigma, the third letter of the Greek alphabet, mean that you are at the top of the chain? Furthermore, sigma apparently refers to alpha and lone wolf at the same time. In order for somebody to be an alpha, there need to be betas surrounding them. How does a sigma who is a lone wolf also claim to be an alpha?
All right. I think I might have just found semi-answer to that. Is sigma higher than alpha? All right. Alphas are at the very top of the male socio-sexual hierarchy, while sigmas don't have a fixed place within the hierarchy. So they're trying to say that alpha, you're locked into the top, but if you're sigma, you can go beyond that, I guess. Kids are stupid.
I think that's the only lesson to hold from this episode is that kids are stupid.
Wow, this is going to be the shortest episode ever.
I have never, in all the episodes, including Bougie that we have done so far, been so upset about the definition of a slang term because it defeats its own actual definition so hardly. Harshly.
All the above.
I can't even say words right. That's how angry I am.
Sigma male, a more internally focused sibling to the alpha male, while the alpha male quantifies himself as his high position in social hierarchy. A sigma male prefers to forego the social hierarchy and need for external validation altogether and pursue internal strength instead. Essentially a loner or a stray man. Give me a break.
Basically, a sigma male is a future school shooter. That's what I hear when I hear that definition.
You know what I think? Sigma.
If you possess certain qualities of an alpha male, and I'll let you assume what those are, and you are a lone wolf character that doesn't surround himself with people,
mm-hmm.
You should look very strongly at those people and stop them from doing anything that they plan on doing.
First off, it's like calling yourself a cowboy. Anybody calls himself a lone wolf is not a lone wolf.
Right.
Like it's like being the smartest guy in the room. You don't have to walk in and say, hey, I'm the smartest guy in the room. You don't walk in and like, I'm Sigma. You just walk in and people are like, oh shit, that guy's running the joint. You don't have to say the word. So Sigma makes me feel like it comes from those, you ever seen the Reels or the TikTok guys where like, it's usually the guy who's just like on the whole meat diet and he's got like a beard that he's had for like 30 years and he's all jacked out of his mind.
Let's not go too far on this.
Well, you haven't had it for 30 years. You've had it for 29. And you're not jacked out of your mind. And they're just all testosterone-y and they're all about men and putting women in their place. And that's where Sigma feels like it came from. And they probably started with alpha because that was technically right. But
I think what probably happened is that there were certain people that thought alpha was too broad and allowed too many people into the group. And so they came up with a different term. And instead of pulling the first letter from a different alphabet, which would make more fucking sense, they pulled the third letter from the same alphabet.
It just feels like they just thought, let's throw sigma in front of alpha, and it just makes it sound cooler. Like when you're trying to designate like different levels of like military shit, or
I would have even been happy. So sigma, I'm going to go nerd on you guys.
There's even a zeta male too.
That's like the 8th letter of the alphabet.
There's zeta and there's the delta male. We got to stay on the sigma though. We can't. I don't know if we can handle that much hate.
I'm wrong. I've been calling it the 3rd letter of the alphabet. It's like the 18th letter of the Greek alphabet.
Sigma?
Yeah. Gamma's the 3rd.
Okay.
I used to be able to recite the entire Greek alphabet.
I figured you
Thanks
were
fraternity life.
Yeah, you were in fraternity, right? What were your guys's?
Delta Chi.
Okay. What's the Chi for? What's Chi?
Chi is like the hard K sound. It's like it's like, you know how Germanic languages pronounce CH like a K, or not Germanic, like Italian languages pronounce CH like a K a lot of times. I think we've gone over that before.
Yeah, because we were always talking about
same thing. It's that sound. Not all the letters have a direct representation because
18th letter in the Greek.
Because there aren't 26 letters in the Greek alphabet, so they don't all have a direct correlation.
If you look up sigma on an actual, Merriam-Webster's dictionary or dictionary.com, that's what it brings up. The 18th letter of the Greek alphabet. Got nothing to do with lone wolf.
And the second thing it probably brings up, and I don't know this, I'm not looking at it, is what I was about to go into, which is the math term sigma, which is a sum of the things that are following in that list.
Mm-hmm.
Which were sigma to be a slang term, meaning that like if sigma was a new term for Renaissance man, I would allow it, and I'd actually possibly get on board, because then you're a summation of so many different things that are disparate from one another. The beauty of being a Renaissance man is like having interests in so many different directions.
Yeah,
and being a sigma in that way would be super cool.
But that's
but instead you're saying that you are at the top of the food chain while you're the 18th letter of the Greek alphabet.
This is because it's coming from an 11-year-old on Call of Duty that thinks sigma is cooler than alpha and are putting them together, and they have no knowledge of anything. Don't even know what that means.
I'm so violently angry at this.
So let's back up. We'll give the listeners a little bit of context here. It's a recording day for us, so we're recording. We like to keep our words as fresh as we can, so thankfully we have access to Matt's stepkids, who are right in the range of all what's coming up, what's new sound wise. And sigma just got put out there, and we were all, what? And it immediately, I hate to use the word triggered because it's kind of
it's a more serious word than we intend to use in this situation.
Yeah, but we both looked at each other, and I hadn't seen that white hot hate for a word from my co-host since we started this, and he knew he was going to have to do bougie.
And I hate this worse than I hate bougie,
because it's brand new, right?
And it's not even close.
It's like a fresh cut, right?
Like bougie is bet compared to this. I could say bet all day.
Oh my God, sigma bougie.
This makes me so violently angry. And to preface, or to give you sort of a look forward, we realize that there are different terms that start with sigma that we'll get to down the road.
I don't know if we can. You might have a heart attack.
It's okay.
He's got a vein in his head right now.
It's okay. You won't like me when I'm angry.
Oh my God. It was instant too. And
I think the problem with me hating a lot of the terms that I hate is the terms that I end up hating the most are the ones that require you to be a nerd to have any base reference for why you should hate them in the first place,
and where it's coming from, and why they're using it is so far off from why you should grab that word and use it.
Bougie comes from a good place. Like if they had actually done any research on what the bourgeoisie was and had used that term to represent that, I would have been okay with it, because let's be honest, that word is both hard to say and spell. Like it's a nightmare. I get it. Same thing. If Sigma came from a place, like I said, if it was to replace Renaissance Man, because that makes sense to me, okay. But to take it and to say that it's basically top dog status when it's the 18th letter of the same alphabet that alpha is in boggles my mind.
And you can't just do that. You can't just like take stuff that already has a definition.
At least pick the other end of the alphabet. At least be the Omega Man. Omega Man. That's fun. That sounds like a good video game during the 80s.
The Omega Male's one of them that popped up too.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
What's that?
I don't know. I stopped reading because I was like, I just can't keep going down this. I named like 3 other ones, but I figured we got to stay on this because we didn't want to jump on the Zeta or Omega or any of that stuff because Sigma's the current one. By the time this comes out, it could be one of those.
I just don't get it. Like if you went to the other side of the alphabet, it would be like the dark side of being an alpha. Like I could understand that, right? But just the random 18th letter of the Greek alphabet, get the fuck out of here. Come on.
I'm telling you, it's just because of where it's coming from. The goop. And that's half the reason that we did this podcast. And it's probably 80% of our words come from, feels like it comes from ignorance instead of coming from a place of, that makes sense.
That's what I mean. And that's me showing the inner nerd, I guess. But like the words I get most upset about are like that. Like like I said, if they looked at the different meanings that Sigma could possibly have, they could have put together such a better slang word.
Well, it seems like you took alpha and all them, right? And you already had to diagnose, like number 1 is the best, number 10 is not. You can't just automatically start saying, well, 8's better than 1. And that's what they're doing. It's like alpha's alpha. Like that was the top of the food chain, right?
Right. You
don't get to like grab one of the other words. Like if you want to make it like Super Saiyan Alpha, fine. You want to make up some new words that go with it. But that's not what they're doing. They're like, no, we'll just take Sigma because it's cooler. It's like, no, it's like saying corporal's better than general now. It's like,
right.
It's like, stop it.
No, it's like, it's like saying piss boy is better than king is what it's like saying.
Depends on the king.
Hey, it's good to be the king.
It's good to be the piss boy.
Oh, piss boy.
I think I'd have made a good piss boy.
I think you would have too.
You think so?
Yeah, not in the way that they intended it to be, but yeah.
Yeah. I'd have lost that job immediately.
I'm so with this word.
I don't, we can't even go into our usual spiel of like, what are 3 things that make you, that you consider Sigma? Because you would be like, I would consider them alpha. If I'm going to pick what you're trying to call what Sigma.
No, you know what? I'll throw you at least one.
Okay.
Based on the definition, since it's an alpha and a lone wolf or something, whatever the fuck you said earlier. Daniel Day-Lewis is a Sigma male.
You think so?
I mean, he flies in a different pattern than anybody else, but
John Malkovich.
But is always top of his game. I think Malkovich fits that category too, but is top of his game when he's doing what he does, right?
Okay.
And so, as much as I don't want to give any credence to this term, if you're using the term by its definition, I think those are 2 people that would fit in that category.
But then you're giving credence to
Barry Bonds. Another reason for me to hate this term. Barry Bonds could be considered a Sigma male based on the definition.
Isn't that the name of the steroids he was using?
I also feel like he would get violently angry at being called a Sigma male. So Barry Bonds, you're a Sigma male. And if I say your name one more time,
is he gonna appear or is he gonna disappear?
Disappear. Oh my goodness. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And I can tell you for sure that when the kiddos are using the term Sigma, they are not meaning any people that are like those 3 people.
Have you heard Reese say that? I've never heard it, but I also think it might be really current.
I'm sure he's said it while playing video games and I haven't caught it or haven't understood the context, which is why I haven't been able to get so instantaneously angry about it as I did today.
I could see
like it. We were sitting down. We weren't even recording an episode. And I was like, turn the mics on.
Yeah, we were like going over like what we could possibly do next. And that's probably the 30th word that got put out there. But it was immediately like, all right, we're going back in.
Yeah. I
strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as I get a feeling about something and I need to talk about it, and I feel that I need to talk about this, because everybody needs to stop using it because it's dumb and ill-placed.
Is there a way it could work?
On their definition?
Yeah.
No.
No, because their definition doesn't make any sense.
No, not any whatsoever.
I just see a kid playing a video game and just being like, dude, like one of his guys is puffing up and he's all, yeah, I'm the alpha male. And he's like, oh yeah, well, I'm the sigma. And he just doesn't realize that that's lower.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And also, like, I think when you call yourself, like, inherently, I have a problem with the term alpha male too, because I feel like more people use it for themselves than other people calling them alpha males, or at least they do so complimentary to themselves, whereas most other people will use it derogatorily towards a person. It's kind of, alpha male is kind of like being somebody that does CrossFit. Like, you tell everybody about it and that's how everybody knows that's what you are.
Yeah.
But that, like, nobody that places that term on you actually likes it. And so like, that's my first point is like this whole blank male, you know, when you use apparently any letter of the Greek alphabet and follow it with male. My whole problem with that whole thing is that for the most part, it's somebody cares about calling themselves that, when that really shouldn't be a point of bragging.
Yeah, let's just put that out there. Like, if you're walking in a room and calling yourself alpha male or sigma male or zeta male, if you're calling yourself anything like that, you are already on the douchebag like monitor. You're like on the douchebag level. You're already cycling.
And mind you, most of those people won't follow it with male. Like, they'll just say I'm an alpha or I'm a sigma.
Who's the alpha here? You're like, shut up.
Yeah. Tyler routinely refers to herself as, or talks about herself and says, don't make me turn alpha. And I laugh because it's funny.
That's silly and that's funny. I'm okay with that. So are you going to
have to be like... But there are people that seriously say it about themselves. I'm like,
oh, no shit. Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Like, are you going to have to follow that? Are you going to say that?
Also,
like, I'm the sigma.
You shouldn't be proud of being the alpha. Do you know what happens to alphas throughout history? They get killed.
The front lines.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So it starts going down this awful male genitalia hole of like a sigma, a male who doesn't take other people's bullcrap and he doesn't simp. A sigma always knows that he is right, and in all honest, he is. Other than unless you're a giga male. Apparently giga's even bigger.
At least it's not part of the Greek alphabet. At least there's nothing I can do with that to say, nope, alpha's still higher.
Sigma, the opposite of an alpha. Example, person 1. Did you hear what Aiden said to the girls? Person 2. Bruh, that guy's fucking sigma. So so that's different. That's somebody.
Well, but here's the thing. You're on UD, yeah?
Yeah, that was UD. So if you couldn't tell by the amazing wording I was reading.
The reenactment.
Yeah.
As we know, UD is submitted by the people. Yes?
Some people. I
so
we can call them that.
So to me, that definition specifically sounds like somebody who walks into a bar telling everybody he's an alpha, being upset that now there's a different letter that he doesn't classify as, and he needs to make sure that he puts the kibosh on that right away.
Oh my God.
Where, here's the thing, buddy, John 69 or whatever your name was. Here's the thing. You don't need to put a stop to it. They've already put a stop to it by picking the wrong letter of the Greek alphabet.
Oh my God. So a sigma male, he's similar to an alpha male, but instead of having sex, he's a sociopath who devotes his life to financial successes and the grind and sacrifices his life on the altar of capital. Well, that was, thanks, big boy Lefty.
So he's Gordon Gekko?
Gordon Ramsay, he's all the above, right?
Sure.
Right.
Like, I can't wait till we get into Giga stuff, because that's also funny, because there are levels that are higher than that, like Terra.
Like a gigahertz?
1.21 gigawatts.
All right. Sigma is an internet slang and pseudo-scientific term used most often to describe an archetype of a male who is a lone wolf. The name is a product of the manosphere message boards from the 2010s. It has gained widespread prominence within the internet culture, and since the early 2020s has become an internet meme. Commonly regarded as the rarest type of male, a sigma male is typically denoted as the archetype of male who is similar to the alpha male of a dual strategies theory. Unlike the alpha males, sigma males are more introverted and seek to dominate themselves. In other words, self-mastery. Well, I've self-mastered myself plenty of times.
Yeah. That definitely classifies as lone wolf too, and probably too much spending on internet porn.
So is that's the new term for masturbation, is lone wolf?
Yes, lone wolf. I'm going to go lone wolf it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I can read any more of that because it's making me sad and angry at the same time.
Yeah, I think as mad as or sad as I've ever been for the youth of today, it has been trumped in this moment by this word.
Let me just say, though, being the lone wolf and be considered the alpha is badass. That's cool. But you don't say it.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else has to designate it. Or you just got to walk the walk. And like, you'll walk around and you're the alpha, but you won't be the sigma. Well, I think I can be a giga or a Terra. You were trying to bring that up, right?
Yeah, Terra would be higher than giga. Like, do you have a kilo male, then a mega male, and then a giga male, and then a Terra male?
I think you have to pay extra for giga male.
No, that's cheap. No, Gmail's free.
Yeah. If you want a giga male, you have to pay for that.
Oh.
Yeah, ridiculous, man. Have you calmed down? You feel any better? You got some of this out of your system yet? Or
I don't know. I think if it's the lone wolf alpha male too, without having a very specific description of this, I think it's the guy on the sports ball team, where in the locker room, it's him with 2 empty seats either side of him, and then the rest of the team in a circle around that.
Mm-hmm.
It's that guy that you don't want to be there when he says anything because he's kind of terrifying. Like, I think that's the description they're kind of giving to it. But because it's a bunch of loudmouth little pricks saying it, I don't think it qualifies.
Yeah.
I don't think they exemplify the term very well.
There was a thing too where it's something, one of the definitions was it describing as something, a man who disrespects women will say that right after they've done it. Well, I'm the sigma, that's why. It's like, wow, that's great. And like, why did we actually have to write that down? Why is that a thing?
I don't know.
That's always bugged me too. Like, who was that guy who was on the internet that, like, he was the big buff guy with a beard. You know, he's had like 40 chicks on him and he was like buying cars.
Dan Balzerian.
Yeah, that shit is just like, it's obvious also, you're hiring people to do shit.
Also, if your last name's Balzerian, like, you have to do whatever you can to separate yourself from what people are going to call you. So you need to be as alpha as
well. He used to be Balchinian, but they had to change it to Balzerian. But that stuff always bugged me. And I get it. If you're turning that into something,
Armenian last name.
If you're turning that into a shtick and you're making money off it, great. But why in the world would you follow that? Like, why would any guy see that as real or something to strive for?
Because our environment has taught us that there are different definitions of being better than everybody else. But whatever definition you hold to, you need to be better than everybody else. I don't think that it's factual. I just think that our environment, our culture dictates that that's the way that we're supposed to be.
You know whose fault that is?
And if you can't be better than somebody in some way, then you have to be better than them in a different way.
I blame Ryan Seacrest.
Fucking Seacrest.
Fucking Seafoam. No, it. And there's always been that culture. Like, you growing up, it was like, there was always the Neanderthal jocks that were like that. Not to just put it on jocks, but that's what it was. It wasn't like the kids who smoked.
Right.
It wasn't them being like that. It was always that. But yes, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. So it's a different world now.
Not to be confused with the show A Different World.
I don't know. I feel pretty spent now. There's a lot of hate in this stuff.
Yeah, I got a little heated.
Is there anything good we could take from Sigma? Like, can we end this on a positive note?
The good that we can take from Sigma is that if there's any hope, I don't know if it's good or it's hope that we can hopefully glean, is that maybe we can change its meaning to meaning that Renaissance person, because some of multiple different things.
Mm-hmm.
That term I would be okay with and actually would be on board with using, because I don't feel like the term Renaissance man is used anymore, but I think it's nice.
Wasn't there a movie Renaissance Man?
Probably.
Yeah.
I think that it's a good compliment to give somebody, even though I think anymore it probably wouldn't be looked at as a compliment. Like, it is good for not just anybody to know as many different things as possible, to have as many different interests as possible.
All right, I'll give you this. Here's the silver lining in Sigma as a slang word. It just proves that the infinitely stupid has not stopped and is still going full bore. And we are going to have plenty of words to fall back on, which means thank you, young ones. Right?
Yes.
That's the silver lining.
Thank you for being so lazy that you refuse to learn anything about the word that you're about to use.
And just keep using words that sound cool. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's just Sigma sounded tougher than Alpha.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe Sigma was cool to them because, like, a lot of the games they play are war games, and I feel like Greek letters are important in.
But in every
groups.
one of those, the Alpha would be the number one. One of the military games does use that, where you have the different groups, and you spawn as Alpha or Beta or Delta and stuff like that.
Delta team, go.
Yeah, stuff like that.
If you get to Sigma team, man, your teams are terrible because you've eliminated 17 teams already.
That or that game is freaking like huge. There's like 4,000 people playing.
Yeah.
So some pretty big teams. So I will try to end that positively.
Speaking of 4,000 people playing a video game.
Uh-oh.
Were you out there when I was telling Jen about the internet this week?
No.
So Reese wanted me to restart the internet router.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, why? And he's like, well, it's not working. My game keeps lagging. First of all, I also hate the term lagging.
Okay.
Because it doesn't mean what they don't use it the way that it's meant to be used. But anyways, not the point.
Sigma lag.
And I was like, okay. And I pulled up speedtest.net. I ran it. And it's like, the ping is 14 milliseconds. It's pulling down at over 250 megs. You need max 50 megs to support any of these games. So, nope. I'm not going to reset it. Because if there is an issue with the line, I don't want to exacerbate that issue by resetting it.
Okay.
And I was like, Reese, the reality is it's something on their server side that's messed up. And every time that you have a problem, there's a better than 50% chance that it's on their server side, especially because you're not playing games, for the most part, that are by companies that have enough money to really put a proper server.
It's also where you're being routed through to.
Yeah.
And like Kingman, where he used to be, we were routed through some of the worst shit.
Yeah.
So he's being here in the big city. I already know that all his ping and all that stuff should be much better than what it was.
Should be. Anyways, so I tell him that, and he goes, oh, well, they did do like a major update this week and eliminated a whole bunch of things because people were screwing off and blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
there you go.
There's your answer. It's their servers.
And you just answered it for me.
They just did too much work on a server that couldn't handle it. And now you're seeing the fruits of that labor.
They're just proving that they're the Sigma and you're the Alpha.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Dumb.
So Sigma's number 18th place, right?
18th letter of the Greek alphabet.
Okay. So all you guys out there that you're the Sigma, good on you. You made top 20.
All you sports teams that barely missed the playoffs, you're the Sigma teams.
Yep. Proud of you guys. You did good.
You almost did good.
You top 20 out of 22 teams. All right. I think we've bothered you guys with enough hate today. Hopefully you're like joining in the hate and you're screaming right along with us. Like,
also, I'm happy because there aren't a whole lot of episodes we do where there isn't any dead space. And we just crushed 35 minutes of potential content with hardly any dead space.
Proud of you.
Thanks.
Way to focus
that. Me too.
Way to focus that red hot hate.
Yeah, I was locked in.
Yeah, it's dark side. Hashtag Team Dark Side.
Team Dark Side.
Yeah. Apparently, I'm on that team today too. If you want any more words that'll piss us off, and you want us to just complain,
yeah, like if you are, a Q male or something like that.
Hey, at least nobody's going to fall asleep during this episode.
They're not going to have time. Too much cussing.
Proud of us. We actually did this without much cussing in this episode, I think.
We really made that count.
Did we?
We made that explicit tag on our things count.
Well, you know what? This has been Hangout with your Sigma Slangout.
Who are you?
I'm Beta Dan.
And I'm Rho Matt.
Why are you Rho Matt?
Rho is one of the other letters of the Greek alphabet.
That's way down there, my friend.
It sure is.
That's 17?
No, it's like 15.
Okay. I always call him Ho Matt myself, but
Oh, fair, but
All right, we'll make sure we bring more hate and we'll bring some more love. There's got to be some words out there we love.
Maybe.
We keep working at this. We just might be the Sigma of podcasts.
I don't think we'll ever hit that high.
You don't think so?
No.
What about the bottom 20?
Oh, yeah.
Got this?
Yeah.
I got that locked up. Well, that's good news.
Oh, no. Rho is like 22.
Row your slang.
Gently down the slang.
Mm-hmm.
Merrily.
See,
Sigma
now-
fucking sucks.
On that, we're punch drunk. I think we're good.
Yeah.
All right.
Later, slangers.
I'm about to sneeze. I'm allergic to bullshit.
You must sneeze a lot. Just real quick, is that actually how you sneeze?
It had a little bit of extra sauce on it for you.
Is that your TMNT Ronin cut of your sneeze?
The Ronin cut? Yes. It's pretty good, right? I'm going to wipe my eyeballs after that one.
You sound like a really bad jazz singer.
No, that was Limp Bizkit.
You sound like a really bad jazz singer in a alfalfa field.
Why? Oh, because
They're allergic to alfalfa. Jazz singers specifically.
I don't know. I don't compute.
Okay, I just added the last part.
Yeah, you did. You make that shit up all the time.
Yes, I do.